Welcome to E-Series, where people are equipped to fulfill their prophetic destiny.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. We've got a couple people in the chat already. And if you've been paying attention at all to the plan for today, then you will know we are here live, and we will be doing questions on personal finance or maybe house buying decision, car buying decision, anything along those lines, or anything you want to ask. If I can't answer it now, I'll find an answer for you, and I think it's going to be good. Aiden is giving me lots of hearts in the chat, so I know he's here live with me. What's up, Chris, Zoe, Bernice, Kristen, Angelicia? Good to see you guys. So here's the plan. We have Facebook video set up, and the number one way we would like to do this is that you put a question in or send a message, and Pastor Zach's going to send you basically a message letting you know, hey, you're in line. And then when it's your turn, we will video chat you. As soon as it connects, it takes a few seconds for the camera to turn on. And once you see me and you on the screen, then, hey, ask your question away, okay? And if you don't want to be seen, you can turn the video off. The other options are just put your question right in the messenger there, right in the comment section. Or if you have my phone number and you want to be somewhat anonymous, you're more than welcome to text me, and I will read the question out loud without the personally identifying information. And yeah, that's good. That's what it's going to be. So you have my attention for the next 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how many questions we get. If you go see a financial consultant, you're probably going to pay $80, $100, $120 an hour. So I would strongly advise you to use this time wisely, because it's free. And it's for the kingdom, so let's do it. I'm ready to go. So anybody, I don't see any questions yet in the chat. So and I have paper here also, so I can crunch numbers. So whatever you guys throw at me, I think I'm prepared to do it. So I don't know. Someone raise your hand. Let's get a video call going. Aiden, you look like you're ready. You got some questions for us? Zoe, Chris, anybody? Or Zach's got one already, so. Yeah, come on over. You can just ask it here.
Pull up a chair.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so my question is for a young, college age, whoever, maybe even high school.
Yeah.
How do I build credit? Is it even important? Is it?
Okay, so there's a couple schools of thought. If you read Dave Ramsey's products, which he's big, especially in the Christian world, he advises no credit at all.
Really?
And, eventually you can rent, and then you can use your rental history to buy a house. I don't know if I personally agree 100% on that, because your credit affects your insurance rate. There's just so many things tied to that number, that you're going to get. Let's be realistic. The average person, the majority of us, are probably going to have to take a house loan.
Yeah.
I think our goal should be to where we don't have a house loan. But just on average, especially if you're in your mid-20s or even early 30s, you get married. Most people don't have $150,000 laying around, even $100K.
Yeah.
If you do, more power to you. I know some people do. I know a few people, close to us probably will have that, but not the average person. Yeah. Okay, so I would advise maybe setting up, and you have to really be diligent and control yourself, but maybe a Netflix account or YouTube Premium, something. Get a card, cut it up immediately. Just set up your Netflix or maybe get gas on that card only, and then set it to auto pay monthly, the full balance.
Okay.
Do not carry a balance over, all right? But like Netflix or Hulu or YouTube, those are easy because you can set up a recurring payment, and then you can cut the credit card up and throw it in the trash.
So when I go to apply for a credit card, like if I don't have a credit card at all,
right?
Like, do I just search credit card and they'll send me stuff? Or?
Yeah, so that's really a good question. So there are tools out there that are designed for this specific thing. Okay, one is NerdWallet, and we can type these in the chat or whatever. I'll write them down so we don't forget. Okay, NerdWallet. I don't know. I think it's nerdwallet.com. We might have to Google that one. SoFi, and there's a few others, but NerdWallet will take your question. I want like a credit card, and you put in some information. It won't pull your credit report at first. It'll just go based off how you answer. Okay. So if you go on Credit Karma, it's free. If you don't have a Credit Karma account, do not be scared to create one. They are free credit advising, but they make their money because they try to sell you credit cards and stuff. And so just ignore the ads they send you. But make a Credit Karma account. Get the app on your phone so you can watch your credit score. Okay, it's not the exact score. They use something called Vantage, which is like their mix. So it's not the score you're going to see from Experian, TransUnion, and all the others.
TransUnion.
But it's going to be really close. Okay, and so Credit Karma also tries to sell you cards and stuff and pre-approve you, but I would just ignore it. Go to NerdWallet and then SoFi. So SoFi is really cool. SOFI. You can Google that. We'll put it in the comments. That is a group of investors that are basically put money forward to give people small loans or lines of credit. And so you skip the bank. It's
that's kind of
I have $10,000 that I'm willing to lend, and I get 100 or 10 Zachs come to me looking for a line of credit, so I give you each $1,000 line of credit, and when you pay your interest, it goes to me instead of to a bank. And so a lot of times the rates are better through SoFi. Okay, you can't get as large of a loan or as large of a credit card as you could through Chase or JP Morgan, but we don't want to really fund the house of the Rothschild anyway, so that's a conversation for a different day. No, but so NerdWallet. And these are pretty easy tools to use. Like when you go on the website, they're really intuitive. Okay, so you go to NerdWallet. We could even do a video one day on how to use these things. But so you go on there. At the top, you're gonna click like I'm looking for credit card or whatever it is, or a small personal loan. You could do either one. You could take a small personal loan too, of maybe $1,000.
And it's just like
it's gonna put $1,000 in your check account checking. Gotcha. So it's like getting a $1,000 credit card, but you already maxed it out. Okay. So what you can do though is you take that $1,000 and you just put it in your savings account. Don't spend it, and then every month you pay. So you're gonna lose a little bit of money in interest. You are, but you could pay you could do a $1,000 12-month repayment and then just pay out of the $1,000 that you borrowed, and then you'll probably have to pay an extra $50 or $60.
And that's going to build up credit.
And that'll slowly build up your credit. The other thing that I think is okay is possibly finding like a $4,000 to $5,000 car that is actually a good vehicle, like Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla. Okay, don't go buy a 93 Mustang 5.0. Okay, for one, it's going to be terrible on insurance. It's not terrible on gas, but it's not great. But Honda Accord, Honda Civic, Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla. Yeah. You don't need an SUV. You could get a small truck like a Ford Ranger's really good. They're very reliable. Okay, $3,000 to $5,000. Take a 2-year car note out. Pay it on time. The thing is, though, if you get a car note, you have to carry 100% covered insurance. You can't just do. Like I have comp and collision, or just comp, or whatever it is, the cheaper option, because my car's paid for. And there's calculations on that too. We don't have to get into all those things. But if you're paying more than 10% of your car value on your insurance a year and you own it, if you own your car outright and your insurance costs more than 10% of your value of your car, you're paying too much for your insurance.
Wow. Okay.
Most people don't get in a wreck and total their car.
Right.
So you could have just saved that money and bought another car.
Wow.
Anyways.
Very interesting.
Okay, so build your credit. My number one recommendation would be get a small credit card, 500 to 1,000. Go to NerdWallet, compare all the rates, pick the one that makes the most sense. Look for no annual fee. You don't want to pay to use that. You're giving them money already. Why would I pay to use your credit card? Right. Okay, no annual fee. Look for one that gives rewards maybe for what you're going to spend it on. Like if you're going to use it for gas, look for something that rewards. Hey, if you go to OnQ or 7-Eleven and you use this card, you're going to get 5% cash back. Okay, that's all I'm going to use this card for. I'm going to go to OnQ or 7-Eleven every time. I'll swipe this card. It's going in a special slot in my wallet that is not allowed to be touched. And do not touch it. Okay, it's not your emergency fund.
Gotcha.
As much as you want to make it.
I want to put those in the comments real quick.
Yeah, do you need this or you got it?
I think I got it.
Okay.
I'll take it just in case.
All right, so credit card, you're gonna look for the obviously lowest interest rate, no annual premium, and then if you can get rewards, then that's cool, but not necessarily important. You're just trying to build your credit, not buy yourself GoPro and iPhone 12 and all that. Okay, remember that. So set up something that's recurring. Another thing I could think is like 10 Gym. If you go to the gym, set up your recurring payment on your credit card, and then set your credit card up to auto pay itself off every single month, and then do not use it for anything other than your initial goal set. Okay. And then the second option would be just get an inexpensive car that's reliable. Take somebody with you to look at the car that knows what they're doing. I'm gonna scoot back to the middle.
Okay.
Take someone with you that knows what they're doing, what they're looking for. You can take me or probably Michael or Brad Lashley or somebody along those lines. They know what they're looking for, or Thomas Snell. Just take somebody like that. Make sure you're buying a good car, okay? I highly recommend Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, and then Accord and Camry, but those are bigger. They're usually a little more expensive. So really good vehicles. If you need a truck, I've had a Ford Ranger. I have friends that have Ford Rangers. If you get the 3-liter 6-cylinder, they're like bulletproof. They last forever. Change your oil, you'll be good to go. All right. Anybody else? Let's see. I don't see any other questions. Everyone's scared.
Maybe explain one more time how they can ask the question.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we got a couple more people on, so that's good. All right. So if you've joined us in the last 5 to 10 minutes and didn't hear the initial, here's the plan today. We are asking questions live, and the primary method we would like to do this is with a video chat. So if you're up and your hair and nails are done and your makeup's did, please let us know that you have a question. Zach will send you back a message, put you in a line, basically a queue, and then we're going to video chat you on Facebook. And once it connects and you see the camera go live, then you'll have interaction with me and we can ask the question. If you don't want to be seen, turn your camera off, that's fine. Or if you want to be anonymous and you have my phone number or my Facebook, you can message me directly. I'll read the question out loud and keep your details hidden, and then I'll answer the question to the best of my ability. Someone's raising their hand in the chat, so we'll get queued up. We got a live question coming. How exciting technology is. Amazing. Oh, I gotta talk to this handsome guy.
Oh, thank you. You're the handsome one. Sweet. Can y'all hear me?
All right. We can see you and hear you.
Awesome. So, I guess I got 2 questions. The first question, just right off the bat, when you're about, I'm thinking for the college-age people going into young married couples. When should you, I know we talk about savings. I know for our age group, it's like investments, different things of that nature, especially if you have a 401k or a TSP. But is it viable to even consider having a CD or something of that nature, or a higher savings account, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
And then when looking towards investments, where does one start? I know there's like Acorn and Stash and different things of that nature that are similar to investments, but they're not, at least in my opinion, they're not true investments.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if we have to keep him on the line. It's probably be good just in case he has a follow-up question, but I'll answer the first 2 and then we'll go from there. So number 1, college, marriage age, couple, savings, investments, CDs. What's the route? Okay, so my deal is basically you want to have an emergency fund first and foremost. That's the most important thing, and you need to be able to get to it quickly. So a CD won't work for that, but a high interest online savings account would work for that. Okay, so $1,000 for probably if you're 25 and older. If you're under that, you need to shoot for 25, at least $500 though, minimum. Okay, 25 and older, or you're married, $1,000 is you have to get that in there. Okay, that's like half of one root canal. If you get just anything, pretty much tires on your car, $1,000. All right, so number 1, $1,000 in the bank. You do this before you do anything. I mean, you get a budget, but then $1,000, then the rest of everything comes. So a CD is basically a cash deposit that you give the bank $100, and then they guarantee you in 6 months they're going to hand you back $200, or in 12 months they're going to hand you back $200, or whatever the return rate is. Some of them are long, 10 years, 20 years. Okay, it's kind of like a bond. Me personally, I tend to push those type of savings and investments off till I'm later in life, because it's I want my money in a slightly riskier situation so that it has more potential to earn, because I'm not trying to save right now for a specific, I mean, maybe I'm saving for a vacation or something, but my total plan is not for when I hit 40 or when I hit 50. It's for when I hit 60 and 70. And so a CD just doesn't have the return in the length of time that I'm looking for. I'm not saying it's worthless, buy your kids CDs if you want, but probably a better investment, if you're looking to make more money, is directly into the stock market. And I like to use, and this is going to answer question 2 partially too. I like to use what are called target index funds, and that's basically a computer monitors the top 500 stocks in the stock exchange, and it auto allocates your money across the top performing stocks, and it does it really fast, and it's very smart. And so if you look at the top 500, that's what makes up the majority of the growth. Okay, there's going to be smaller companies that blow up that you miss out on, but the everyday guy is not going to, or lady is not going to be able to see those trends coming. You don't have the time to do the research to win in penny stocks and stuff like that. I mean, you can do that for fun if you want, but if you really want to make money, you put your money in something that's working and you don't touch it until it's time to retire. And so for me, I'm looking to retire when I'm hopefully 60, 65. And so I'll never retire probably, because I enjoy working and stuff. But where I can leave my salary is 65. And so let's see, what year is it right now? 2020, I'm 35, so 30 years, that would be 2050. So I'm going to look for a 2050 index fund. Okay, and the difference between mutual fund and index is mutual is ran by people, they charge you money to run the fund, you still make good money. Index is ran by the computer, so that the cost of the investment is much lower. So you pay 10% on every $100 instead of $10 or whatever, whatever the ratio is. Okay, and then after so let's just back up just a little, go in order. All right, budget $1,000 emergency fund. You need to pay off your bad debt first, and then start pumping 15% of your pre-tax money into your investment account. That's the target goal. But you don't want to do that if you're paying 15 or 12% on a credit card, because you're counteracting your interest. You're earning 12% here and losing it on the other side. So you're not really gaining any ground. It'd be better to pay off where you're losing interest first and start fresh at zero, and then start investing towards your future. Okay? And then once you get to that point in your life where you have money going in investment, you're not paying a bunch of interest on debt, and you have children, instead of opening them a CD, you should open them I think it's a 529. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Let me double check real quick. It's either 429 or 529. I don't want to give you the wrong information. Yep, 529. Okay, 529 is a college investment program. That is basically like putting your money in the New York Stock Exchange. It's designated for your child. At 18, they have the choice to go to college. They can use that money towards tuition. If not, you don't lose the money. You can roll it over into a 401k. So I think it's genius, because you can get monies tax-free, getting the interest of the stock market saved up till the kid's 18, 19, 20. I think they have all the way till they're 26 to use it for college. And so if they decide to go to college, it doesn't matter, 2-year college or a JUCO or like a HVAC school or something, they can take that 529 money and put it towards the college tuition and room and board. If they don't use it for that, they can roll it over with no penalty into a 401k or whatever their work savings account is, an ESA or something like that. So that, and then, so 15% for you, and then you start investing for your children, and you can get ahead, and anybody can give to that. What's really cool, like if my mom and dad want to give towards my kids 529s, they can invest into those 529s. It's not like locked to me or to whoever's social security number is tied to it. So it's a pretty neat program. So did I answer it all the way, or?
Yeah, you answered it.
Okay, good.
You answered it.
I think I have another one similar. Isaac was asking. Let me grab his since you're on here too. How can someone get started investing money and grow it? Okay, so this is similar to Pastor Chris's question. I use Vanguard. There's a couple. I think the other one's like Schwab. Basically, you got to save a little bit of money. I think Vanguard's minimum startup is like $3,000. And then it may be less if you agree to pay more money a month towards your investment. I can't remember exactly. I haven't done it in so long. But you essentially go to the Vanguard website. You set up similar to an online checking account. I don't know if Pastor Ty is listening. Me and him did this recently. Maybe he can help me out with what the starting cost was. I just don't remember exactly. Maybe it's $2,000, but I think you can open the account and start putting money in there like similar to a checking account, and then once you reach the threshold, then you can move it over into the stocks. And again, I look for a target index fund. Okay, so for me, I'm looking for a year 2050, so the fund is named Target 2050. That means it's targeting your retirement at the year 2050. And so right now it auto allocates probably 93% of my money to stocks and then 7% to bonds. And bonds are a little safer, cash-backed, government-backed deal. So as I approach 2050, it starts to move my money from the more risky stuff into the bonds. And, depending on what the layout is of that specific index fund, by the time I'm 50, probably is like 80% bonds and 20% less risky stock. So hopefully that makes sense. I can help anybody set these up. It's pretty simple. I mean, we could do it over a FaceTime call even if we need it, or share your computer screen with me, or come to my house, or do it at church. It's real simple. It just, most people don't know where to go. And so if you look up Vanguard, it's VANGUARD. You can just Google that. Make sure there's a little lock symbol next to your address on the internet. That means you're safe and they can't steal your money. And as long as you have that, then you're free. You're safe. Okay? I think I got them. Anybody else? Ask now. Okay, sure. So, anybody who's joined, Jade, Mercy, I see you guys in, and anybody else new. We're doing live personal finance questions today. So the primary option we would like to use is you let us know you have a question, and we will do a FaceTime call to you, a Facebook call to you. And once you connect live, we'll bring you up on the screen, and you can ask your question live. We'll answer right here. If you don't want to be seen, you can turn your camera off. If you'd like to remain anonymous, you're more than welcome to send me a message directly to my cell phone or to my Facebook account or to the church and Facebook message account as well, and we can read your question aloud with no personal details, and then we'll answer it, and everybody gets to benefit. Okay, we do have 2 more questions. All right, so do you have any advice on applying for art, dance grants, and grant writing? Certain stipulations apply. 501c3, nonprofit, established for 3 years, have a board of directors, have an EIN number. Any advice for applying for grants statewide? Wow. Well, I have not done any grant writing, so I'm not sure. Oh, you want? Okay, yeah, we could do that. We could, Angelica, we're gonna call you. We'll pull you on here live. Maybe. Yeah, 2 seconds. We're almost there. All right, we're ready. So, I read your question out loud. I don't know if you want to ask it again, or I can.
Oh, I mean, I can. Just any advice on grant writing, like specifically how to apply for the grants. Like a lot of the things say, like you have to submit certain financial things and stuff like that. So just wondering if you had any experience with that.
So I haven't done any grant writing. I think we have somebody in our church that has done grant writing. I'll have to ask around. I think I know who it is. I don't want to say their name live and then not be the right person. So let me ask them. Remind me this weekend if you can. Okay? And I will ask that person, hey, can you help us out? Because it's just a certain way you have to write, a certain format, and you want to meet all that guidelines so you don't so you don't lose the grant because you didn't do it right. All right? And then on the financial side of it, a lot of times probably they're going to want like a balance sheet or something showing what your business financials have looked like if you have any. And also there's ways to say we're a brand new startup and we don't have it. And so, that's probably something that we'll have to sit down and look over. And if it's above my head, then I know people that I can get us in touch with that do that thing for a living. And so I have a friend that he writes basically like financial packages to get insurance for small. They're called like OEC Fiber. That's a community-owned internet company, right? And so it's not a private corporation. It's actually owned by the workers. And so he goes in and writes their insurance policy and package and investment package. And so it's similar type of writing, I think. And we could probably he knows how, or he knows people as well. And so there are definitely resources we could use. On the financial side of it, I can help you get your balance sheet and all that in order. I just don't know the other side of it, the writing side of it. And if you ask Emily, you probably don't want me doing your writing anyway. So I'm the math guy, not so good with the English side of the house. So
Awesome.
Yeah, hopefully that answers it. Get with me this weekend. We'll find who I think it is, and we'll ask them, hey, have you wrote grants? I'm pretty sure. So I guarantee somebody has done grant writing. I guarantee it. For school or for something. So. Yeah. All right.
Good.
Well, hopefully that's good. Okay. Thanks for calling. Bye. Okay, we got another one here. All right, we'll get her live. That's good. Okay. All right, we're good.
Hey.
Good morning.
My question was basically for people with inconsistent income, like a waitress or a seasonal type job. What's the best way to budget for that?
All right. So I have a form for you guys. I will look for it after this, and we'll post it in the comment. It's a PDF similar to the budget I put in there before, and then we'll probably have to sit down to go over it just so it makes sense. But I kind of talked about this a few weeks ago. I've taught on it in the past, but it's kind of a tough concept to wrap your head around if we don't sit down together and go over it. And so I'll do my best to explain it, and then, for sure, whoever needs this, come find me. All right, it's not difficult to do in person. It's just at first it sounds kind of weird. But you're gonna so if you've been doing it for a year, you need to keep track. And if you don't know how much you made, then the first thing you need to do is start keeping track of what you made. And then we could do a 3-month or a 6-month. A year is the best, but if we only have 3 months, then that's fine. We can make it work. So what you're gonna do is you take your lowest month out of the 3 or 6 month period, 1 year period, and you're gonna base your normal budget off of that low value. So stuff that's required, okay? And you're gonna prioritize it in order. This is the most important, tithe and offering first, and then probably gas for your car, and then, or maybe food, I don't know, depends on how you are. Food, gas, and then blah, 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 blah after that, right? So Netflix, eating out, I don't know, whatever. Cell phone bill, that's probably a little more important. We'll put that at number 3 or 4. Okay, so you make this list and how much you owe on those items or how much you want to spend. And so the months that you get paid above your budget amount, you go over to your prioritization list and you say, okay, I need $60 for food. And so if you have, let's say, $100 extra, then 60 of it goes to food. And then you go to your next item on the list, and you basically you start to pull money out of your surplus to fund those other items that are not as important. You want to hit your main items monthly, so you want your lowest month should cover the things that are required for you to get by, and then your surplus items will start to cover your other expenses. So clothing fund or, oil changes for your car, stuff like that. Entertainment money, like going to the movies and stuff. You want those are going to be lower on your list, and they should never take priority over the items that your budget has to normally cover. Because you'll set yourself up for failure if you get paid really high one month and you spend all that money, and then you're going into your low month and now you can't make your normal payments. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier if we sit down and line it out on paper, and you can prioritize for the most part what you need and just get your priorities in order. And I've done this with, actually, Pastor Chris and Lacey and I sat down and we did this based off of the doing the car detailing and stuff, and how to get through the all the business costs associated with that and whatever else. And I think it worked pretty well. They haven't come back to me for I think we did that 2 or 3 years ago, so it's either it worked really good or it stunk. So but I think it worked, so but yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, come find me, we can sit down and actually write it out, and we can use fake numbers if you want, or whatever you want to do. But that's how you do it. You find your low month and you make your budget based off that, and then you prioritize the stuff that you have to spend money after, and then any surplus money goes to that. Cool?
Cool.
All right, thanks for the question. Appreciate calling in. This is enjoyable. I can't even lie. I like doing this. See if we got any more. I don't see any more questions. Got a new watcher, couple, Michelle and Nancy. So just to catch you guys up, we're doing live questions today for personal finance or any other financial related decision. I've stressed, if I can't answer the question, we'll find you somebody who can answer it. And so if you have a question, please put a hand up in the chat and we will give you a FaceTime call. I keep saying FaceTime, sorry. I'm an avid iPhone user. Facebook! We'll give you a Facebook call. And you can ask your question live if you'd like. If you want to, keep your name anonymous or whatever, then just shoot us a message. Not in the comments section because everyone will see it, but a message directly to the Facebook page or to my phone. Either one's fine. Read the comment out loud and then I'll answer it. And it's been pretty good so far. For the new people that have not been listening the whole time, until we get another question, I'll just kind of cover quickly what was asked earlier. So somebody asked, Pastor Zach actually asked, hey, how do I get started with my credit score? Is it important? Do I ignore it? And if it is important, what do I do to do it effectively and not overspend or whatever? So yeah, I think it is important. Dave Ramsey teaches you should not worry about credit at all. Just save cash and pay cash for everything. That's a genius idea. And if that works for you, then more power to you. I don't personally have that much money floating around yet. And so I have to use a little bit of credit here and there. I avoid credit cards as much as possible. I avoid car loans as much as possible. But if you're just getting started, my recommendation would be get the smallest line of credit on a credit card you can get, $200, $250, whatever it is, $100. And then get your Netflix or your YouTube Premium or Spotify or something that's a reoccurring payment. Put that on your credit card. 10 Gems another one, or Planet Shape, whatever you go to. Put that on your credit card. Set your credit card to pay it off automatically every month, and then don't use the credit card for anything else. And then just let that do its thing for a few years. And then the second option I gave out would be maybe to buy. If you're in need of a vehicle, don't just go buy one, to build your credit. Just if you need a vehicle, then maybe look for like a $3,000 to $5,000 car. I would recommend Toyota Camry, Honda Civic, Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla, something in those lines. If you need a truck, a smaller truck, then like a Ford Ranger is pretty reliable. And those cars are decently priced and they will last you. And take someone with you that knows what they're doing. Look for the best interest rate on the car possible. Don't let the dealer talk you into payments, but negotiate the final cost. Actually, if you go to the bank and get a loan first and then take the loan with you to the car dealer, it's probably better, unless you trust the people you're working with. So they're going to try to use the car payment monthly to convince you that you can afford it. Well, we're not looking to do that. We don't care what we can afford, or that's not what's important. We're trying to build our credit. So we're just get low interest rate and whatever lowest payment you can get. So that's why I said go to the bank first. tell them you're looking for a car loan. They'll give you all the options you can have, whatever interest rate. And then you just tell them I'm going to a dealer, or a private seller is probably better. You can negotiate a little bit easier with them, but then you already have the money in your loan, and all your stipulations are already covered. You don't go into it guessing. What the car dealer will do is they'll come out and say, hey, we can give you this for $200 a month. Well, they don't tell you how long or how many payments you have to make, and so you end up paying some 14% interest. You don't want to do that. Okay, that's not wise. All right. Okay, we do have a new question, Michelle. You're probably working, so I'll just read. Michelle asked, "Hey, how much do you suggest on your 401k?" Okay, so the question kind of has to. It depends on where you're at in your personal finance journey. If you already have paid off your credit cards and stuff like that, then 15% of your pre-tax income is what the magic number that I've read. Probably 30 finance books, and they all kind of are on the 12 to 18%. So 15% is probably really good. If you can do more, then go for it. But you also want to be able to enjoy your life, and sow when you need to sow, and go to Cancun, if stuff like that. You don't want to focus on when you're 70 and miss from 25 to 50 and not enjoy time with your kids and stuff. So let's be realistic about it. That's all I'm saying. So I recommend 15% of your pre-tax income. However, if you're paying on debt or stuff like that, then you probably should just try and get to where you're getting your full employer match, because you don't want to lose that money either. Earlier I said focus on the debt, but if you have an employee match, then there might need to be some middle ground. So for me, if I give 6%, I think it's 5%, the government matches one. I work for civil service, so they already do 1%. So if I give 5% of my salary towards my 401k, then they match like 4 or 4.5%. So it works out to 10 total with the 1% they already gave me. And so I don't want to lose that free money. If I go under 5, then the match lowers. So I try to stick right at that 5% for my employee match. So you're going to have to either call HR or get your. They usually give you like a package with your investment options through the company. Okay, so this question might take a little bit longer to answer, but that's okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you go through your employer to get the highest match that you can get. So if it's 5%, for me, 5%, to get basically a 5% match from the government. So every $100 I put in, they match $100 now. Okay, so that if I don't do that, then I'm losing the extra 100 from the government. And so I don't want to do that. Well, whoever your employer is. I don't want to say the government. It sounds like a socialist program. That's not what it is. It's a retirement fund, okay? So it's whoever your employer is, whatever their match is. A lot of companies, it's 3% that I've seen. All my other jobs were, if I contribute 3%, then they match 3. Okay, so let's go with 5. It's easy for math purposes. So I give 5. Where do I put my other 10%? Do I put it in my work fund, or I would say you need to open your own Roth IRA and put as much of the rest as you can in that Roth IRA. Once you hit the annual number, which is, I believe, $5,500 for this year. Unless you're over 50, then they have catch-up numbers. But if you're under 50, I believe it's $5,500. And so if you have any more leftover percentage, if you make a higher salary, then the rest goes back to your employer or into some other type of investment. So you could do Roth IRA, you could do, what's the other one called? Just a regular IRA, I believe. So I think you can split between those. I'll have to get some numbers down. This question has a lot to it. General rule of thumb, 15%. You can hit your employer till you get your max match. So if it's 5% or 3, then the other 10 or 12% goes into a Roth IRA. If you hit the number in the Roth IRA where you're giving too much annually, you're not allowed to give anymore, then the next you go back to your employer or you find another investment. It's easier to just go back to your employer if you don't know what you're doing. Don't waste your money on Miracle Spring Water or anything, okay? I think that pretty much sums that up. There's so much to that question, actually. I could probably talk on just that for an hour because there's so many there's so many. There's ESAs, which is like an employer savings account. I know if you work for like Chesapeake or Devon, they give you stock options. There's so many variables to that, but the general rule of the thumb is 15% of your pre-tax income. So if you make $20,000, then that's what, $3,000, right? I think that's right. $3,000 divided by 12, obviously, because it's monthly. And yes, Cancun, we should all go. It's awesome. Okay, so back to the other questions until we get another one. Where are we at on time? Are we okay? Okay. The next question I got was about if you're college age or a married couple, what do you do about savings, investments? Where do you start, essentially? So if you're college age, you're still living with your parents, the first step is to get an emergency fund. What I said earlier was if you're 25 and under and you're single or living with your mom and dad, $500 I would say is probably the minimum. That will not cover a full set of tires on your car. It will not, that should cover most emergencies, but it's not quite enough money. So you get 500 in there and then start working towards 1,000. If you're married or older at all, definitely $1,000 is the minimum. So I could just run through the steps actually. So budget, okay, emergency fund, which is you're striving for $1,000. Most people say, well, you need 4 to 6 months. We'll get to that. Okay, step 3, pay off all your debt. Not your house though, just your monthly reoccurring debt. So budget, emergency fund, pay off your debt. Step 4, 15% to your retirement fund, pre-tax. Step 5, 4 to 6 month emergency fund. Okay, so now you're going to take all your bills and your payments, and you need to have enough savings on hand that if you got laid off from work, you could pay all of your payments and eat for the next 4 to 6 months. Okay? And step 6, somewhere in here, if you have children, you're investing into them. Step 7 is do whatever you want because you're basically a millionaire at that point. That's the quick and dirty. That answers most questions, actually. Not the specifics on how to do it, but it gets you kind of in there. So, Zach Keese, good to see you. We're talking personal finance today. If you have a question, raise your hand in the chat, please, about anything. How much money do I put in savings? How much money do I contribute at work to my retirement account? How much money do I let my wife spend? No, I'm just kidding. Don't ask that. I can't answer. They get it all. Oh, we got another question. Is it you?
Yes. I do have a question.
Yeah, come on. I was just teasing. I thought maybe you'd go live over there.
Oh, I don't think I can. That's the problem. I would go live from my phone from the same room because that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But I have to use my account for the Facebook, so it doesn't let me do it both at the same time.
That
so
won't work.
I can't call myself, unfortunately. Anyway, so I don't remember if it was the last E-Series or the E-Series before that. You talked about having a side hustle.
Yeah.
So how did you pick your side hustle, and or how do I start one?
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot to this too. I did talk about this, and I told you, if you're not Brittany Hussein or Emily Kenepp or one of those artsy people, don't do something artistic because you're not gonna make any money. If I try to make a Tumblr like Brittany,
Yeah.
it's gonna look like Madeline and Ephraim made it. No offense to Madeline and Ephraim, but they're 3 years old and they don't know what they're doing, and neither do I. Okay? So what I did basically is look for something that I'm good at, and it doesn't have to be something pretty. It should be, if you're a man, hard work probably, you know? I mean, there are really good male artists. I'm not saying that there's not, but car detailing, washing windows, changing oil in cars, you know, stuff that people kind of do routinely, that you could probably give them a little bit of savings, but do at least as good a job as they would get at, you know, for example, oil change, going to Walmart. I guarantee you, me and Michael are doing a better job the work you're getting at Walmart. And we're going to use better oil and a better oil filter, and you're going to probably pay the same cost, maybe a little bit more, but you're guaranteed, the customer in that case is guaranteed to have a better job done. Okay, so that's stuff that I'm good at. Mowing grass, just stuff like that. If you're a teenager especially, start knocking on your neighbor's doors and ask them if you can mow their grass. Give them a good deal, and then do a very, very, very good job. That's I think one of the keys is people kind of just go in and get lazy, and then you lose any ability to make money that way. And you have to really work hard, and your hourly cost may not be where it's at, where you want it to be at yet, but that's not really what the goal is. You're just trying to grow your little side hustle, your little job that you're developing. Okay. If it's a bigger idea that's could potentially become a business, then you probably need to take the legal steps.
That was going to be my follow-up.
Yeah, so for window cleaning, the state of Oklahoma makes it really simple. You go to state of Oklahoma,
Better business.
I think it's SOS. I just want to get this right, so just bear with me for a second.
If you have any questions, please put them in the comments.
Yes, please. Okay, so OK.gov.
Okay.
Oklahoma.gov, basically. You can go on there. You can search LLC or private company names, and if you can get your name registered. I want to say it's $100 for an LLC the first time, and it's $25 a year, which that's a lot of money. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
If you're a sole proprietor. The way it works on your taxes is, for me, I opened an LLC and I got an EIN and all that, but since I'm a sole-owned LLC small business, it still uses my Social Security number. So it goes right onto my tax sheet. So I don't know how protected I actually am, because the LLC shields you from some of the costs. I don't know the legal ins and outs of that, but Oklahoma State will register your business. They'll write all of your business paperwork for you, like your legal documents, who's the owner, who's the private entity, all that stuff that I don't know how to do that you'd have to pay a lawyer. Oklahoma does that for you. They're very good about encouraging small business. Okay, cool. You don't have to do this, but if you have a legitimate business where you need to get insurance and stuff, this is the route you should take. So you register your business, and then, for me, I did the window cleaning. I was able to take my business papers, and you get them right away. They email them to you within 3 or 5 days, something like that. So then I went to Progressive and a couple other insurance companies, said, I'm doing window cleaning. If I have people that come and work with me, I need to cover them, and I need to cover against breaks and stuff like that. And so,
if you were going to break a window.
Yeah, if I fell through a window or something, or I dropped a ladder and broke a chandelier. I mean, some of these houses we're doing chandeliers in there, in Gallardi and stuff, those could be 30 or 40. They're handmade. You can't replace them. So the insurance value on them is astronomical. The odds of me breaking it are not good, but if it happens, I just want to cover myself. So the way to do that is you have to register your business, OK.gov. Secretary of State, that's what it is, SOS. So the Secretary, you can Google Oklahoma Gov SOS, Secretary of State, file my business or whatever, and you'll get to the right side, or like I said, ask me and I'll point you in the right direction. Register your business, then you can legally operate as an LLC, even though you're a self-owned private small business, and you can get insurance and all that. Okay, so that's the appropriate way to do it.
Okay, one more follow-up if I can. So, at my bank, they always have this thing for business checking. Is there anything that is, why would I keep that separate? Or
Well, for one, when it comes time for taxes, it's easier. You can just go get an annual statement, and you can see how much money you spent, how much you made. I keep a very detailed ledger. Every time I drive, I made a little Google form, and I enter where I'm going and how many miles I went and what the purpose of it was. Picking up equipment, giving a quote, or actually doing the job. Those are kind of my main three. I can put them in one of those categories. Okay, so every time I go, I keep track of mileage, because you get, I think it's 55 cents per mile you drive as a deduction. You don't get that money, but if you owe taxes, you get to put that money against it. Gotcha. So if I drove 1,000 miles, I can put whatever that math ends up being, $550 towards.
Gotcha.
Or 55, whatever it is.
Deducted kind of thing.
So it takes it off of your owed taxes. And then you can show a loss 3 out of every 5 years. So you're not actually losing money, but if,
Right.
I don't want to get into that. People will probably think that I'm crooked.
Stealing.
Just following the U.S. tax code, okay?
Yeah,
just like our
absolutely. Okay, that was
Commander in Chief.
Those were my questions.
Small jab there, but well, so I'll keep going. You don't have to sit over here
Okay.
on that. Those are good questions. So the other primary purpose of the business checking is if you get to where, let's say you own rental houses and you have 5 or 10 houses, you don't owe too much more money on them, so that's basically an asset at this point. If those are housed under your LLC, then if someone gets hurt or maliciously tries to come after you and sues you, then they can't take your personal stuff because it's all housed under the LLC. They can only attack the LLC. However, if you've been mixing your banking accounts, then that muddies up the water in court, and potentially you've been taking business funds and cashing them into your personal check. You can pay yourself just fine. You just have to do it the right way. But if you're cashing checks or tossing money back and forth, now all of a sudden your personal finances are thrown into with the business, and your stuff is subject to whatever the legal outcome is. So if you get to where you're starting to do business on a higher level and it's grown into something serious, then register your business, get insurance, open up a business checking, and keep your money from the business account separate. And then when it comes time you can cash out as much as you want. You just write down, you go take the withdrawal, and for the purpose you just put cash out to owner or cash out to whatever. And then that covers you if you get, hopefully no one gets sued or anything, but it's just protecting yourself really is what the business checking is all about. And like I said, it makes it easier to balance your books at the end of the year. So in all things, always work hard, be diligent, and be organized. Keep good records. And you end up saving more money in the end if you do that. So like that, I flipped a few houses even, and I've kept such good books on how much money I spent, and I was even tracking when I was driving to Home Depot to pick wood and stuff up that I was able to write off most of what I made. I didn't have to pay capital gains taxes on my houses. So, and I didn't do it illegally. I followed the law 100%. So I wasn't even trying to do that. I just did what they told me to do, and then at the end they said, "Hey, you don't have to pay any tax on that." Okay, sounds good. All right, well, I think we're approaching time. I don't see any more questions. So I think we'll wrap it up. If you have any further questions, feel free to send them to the church Facebook message, and we'll either write you back or we'll do another live one of these in a couple weeks, couple months, whenever it turns out to be. I don't know, maybe right around Black Friday, Christmas time would be a good time to talk about budgets again. Who knows? People need help. Hey, it's not a surprise. Christmas is coming. If you didn't know, maybe save some money now. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate everybody who called in and asked your question, and just made my job easy today, and I look forward to doing this again. So thanks again. We'll see you guys soon. Look forward to the next E-Series. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks for tuning in today to another E-Series episode. Be on the lookout for more episodes soon, and connect with us through searching HLI.Church in your app store or Harvest Life International Church on Facebook and YouTube.